Sup, nerds, and welcome back to Microtopia. We have just launched our first giant at the end of last video, and we got ourselves smart dispensers. That means that while this next giant is being produced, as more ants start coming in through here, here's one coming now to get funneled into this, we are going to have to finally address something that I have talked about many times. I need to get this cleaned up. This is horrific. It was bad even when I was playing this constantly. Now it's been a week away, and I have questions for myself. But we can take a look at the smart dispensers wherever they are hiding. Now, probably in storage, yeah. So these take copper and some diodes, so I need to make sure that we're getting those in over here, or at least that we're producing what we need to. And with those, I can start cleaning up like this mess of pods. All these can go, and we can start laying out foundation in this area because it's time. It's time to make this make sense again. So I am going to go ahead and start on that. Right now, the other projects are a little less crucial. We just need to get some copper coming over here, and we need to get diodes being made. So I kept calling them diodes. They're actually LEDs, LEDs. Which light emitting diode. I was technically right, but this is not a case where technically correct is the best kind of correct. So these will need to be made in factories, made with combining light bulbs and a diode. Best place to do that is going to be over here in our desert layout. So I'm going to look into getting that all done. We do have some facilities being produced that I was going to start producing something in. I don't even remember what. I might just repurpose these to make the diodes, combine those with light bulbs down here, get ourselves what we need in order to get this started. What do you need to get started? You need iron. Were we out of iron down here? No, we are nowhere near out of iron down here. So the iron's going to come. It's going to get processed. There is a lot of it going into this thumper right now, but after 16 more, that will be done. The LEDs and diodes we make will go into this. We'll probably finish this as we're kind of building up our diode production facility. I am so excited to get the smart dispensers rolling, and we'll check in with you once we've made some progress. Thumper is full of iron. We have our first facility up. Taking a look at it, we want to make diode. Oh, we can make resin in these with fabric and concrete. Oh, that's fantastic to know. Until then, we're going to make some. Actually, with that, I might want to. Now I know resin is renewable. Fantastic. That's going to change things. That is honestly going to change things. I should set up a resin producing facility back with Maymays. For now, we're going to keep getting these. We're going to bring them in a little tighter than they were. I don't know why they were that far apart. That's wrong. There. No. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and make diodes. These take copper wire and some screws. Both of those are going to be relatively easy to get. We've got some good copper supplies here. I think we even have a backstock of wire here. So we can put this dispenser. Let's put it right here. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to make, I'm realizing, a distribution, like alternate which ants go where. So one second while I think this through. I think we have it here. We have our copper wire and our screw dispensers. This first divider chooses one to go to each. Then once they have grabbed their new material, they are split either between going up to each facility so that we're spreading them between those. And then they come back and we get them back to picking another material. So should be half of them go to each side, and then from there, half of each side goes to each of these facilities, and then they route back. It's not really scalable. Well, I guess it is in this design. I'd have to shift some things around, but yeah, it gets them where they need to go. And we'll put this right here. That way they drop it off, come back, and here this needs to now accept diodes. So we'll go ahead and get things working, get it stuck with those. I need to put a counter gate down. That's going to take 4 ants to run properly. We'll just do it from here. Eventually, I'm going to need to also organize this. As we come through, as we can see, we're making our first diode. This will be handled. Once this is finished, they'll all go in here. I know that as soon as this diode's made, it's going to be dropped off and immediately sent into the thumper. That's fine. We can use the thumper oh, really? What about right there? There we go. And off it goes. So that's going to take 20 diodes. We also need to get LEDs and resin production set up ready to go. When we look at the instinct request, it's wanting us to make the battery worker ant. I took a look in the research tree. The battery worker ant is all the way up here. We're going to need to start filling in this whole area to even get there. So working on these, getting more giants up and running, getting all of this teched up, getting to a better place overall with everything, I think is a smart first goal. The Thumper's almost done. We can scan the polluted island, see what resources are over there. But for now, this kind of work is really the next step. Like I said, where this is going to get us our Thumper anyway, and it's going to get us our resin production and all that. Resin is it was plant matter and first of all make diodes. Second of all, what was resin? Plant or fabric and concrete. I mean, feel like we can make tons of that at the jungle. Jungle has trees that grow up with both of those, or with plant matter, which can be the fabric, and rubble, which can become concrete. We'll look over there soon. We are still at stage 9 in the queen's feeding. That's probably going to upgrade relatively soon, honestly. I mean, not sure why it wouldn't. We have these pods continuing this work here. We can even bring more in. If I have to make the transit more efficient, I will, though for now it seems to be just about right. Like, I don't feel like we're pulling more than this is. Yeah, that limit of 20 is really helping because it keeps these pod workers constantly restocked. But that means we could pull more in. We also do have a very deep supply of fabric here, thanks to, well, them finding better purpose in life when they've been running around for a while. So, what I might look to do. Why are you carrying concrete? Is this full down here? So, most likely reason for concrete is that, yeah, one of these stockpiles is full. It's going to be another nice thing about getting the smart dispensers up everywhere is that we don't have to worry about replacing these every so often. There you go. New storage. I do want to make more copper as well, I think. We have some good stockpiles. Our wire stockpile is pretty good. I need more ants. Always need more ants. Are we still keeping like a little supply up here? We are. Not much of one though. It looks like we could pull off about 2 more from this. I mean, the alternative is I could always pull pod workers into things, right? But we're not there yet. We're not quite there yet. Getting these or covered by pod workers is going to be our next step to get more ants, I think so. And of course, getting the queen's mess sorted out. I'm doing it. I'm getting more ants out, more pot workers out into these sections. These settlers are managing well enough, and a few more pellets is going to really just provide some good energy for the queen down here. The next shine is almost up and ready. I'm going to start laying out the foundations, at least in this area. It might be quite a while until we get the iron plates to build them all, but I just want to get started on making everything look neat. So we're going to we're going to go ahead and kill those plants last, and in the meantime, we're going to get the groundwork laid out. I might have had way more smart plates than I even knew about, or iron plates than I even knew about. I'm going to leave this here. We've laid out at least this basis, and once we get the smart dispensers, everything will clean up. I promise. That's the last thing, because then I can like rip out this area and all this, and I can start arranging things logically, and we can make hard decisions about flowers, and are we going to let them regrow or not, and what about all this rubble and things like that. So that is coming. That is coming. For now, we just need to make this area look nice. Up here, in order to get this done, well, we're going to move this assembler back. This one's been our faithful companion that has been turning pod workers, or turning regular ants into pod workers. Its time has come again. Its time has come again. So we'll get the ants down here, get them in, and get them connecting back into that. Just going to put 2 into this line, going to put 3 into this one. Maybe some slingers if I need to, just to keep things moving, but we're not upping the production of pod workers by that much, especially considering these are tier 2 and they don't need to go visit the refresh station that often. Hey buddy, you're here? Cool. Add it in there. You know, I could have sworn I had a sentry ant on this line. I wonder where it went. I guess. Here we go. 4 sentries. 1, 2, 3, and number 4 is working on screw. It's holding a larva and just wandering back and forth in the screw area constantly. Okay. I don't know how you got here, sir. Ma'am. Probably ma'am. But your job is, in fact, playing nursemaid to new larva. Get back to work. I am still not entirely sure how that could have happened, but here we are. It is nice seeing at least the foundation laid out, knowing that we are only a few steps away from this becoming a major thing. We're getting drones back out flying over. I realized fabric was being weird, keeping the population low out here due to that. But we're getting everything filled back up. We are getting drones coming out here. They're dropping off larvae when they do. Getting the materials made to be able to hopefully soon start making some resin. I'm going to lay this out exactly the same way as that. Foundations, because nothing says consistency like trying to apply the same pattern in different places. That's consistency. Well, I could move things over, but it is functionally the same layout. It's just some of these lines got a little stretched out or reoriented a little, but the dividers work the same, the paths work the same. This one's going to bring concrete, this one's going to bring fabric, and we should hopefully get this one up and running soon. Make sure that we are still mining some glass down here. We are. Means as we get some more larvae coming in, delivered in, we should see more life coming here. Really is amazing how just one small part of the chain breaks, and of course everything down the line also shatters because that's how chains work. And I don't know why I'm saying that like it's some world changing revelation. Don't mind me. Using the old flight path, we're bringing copper back now, should be coming here soon. With that, we will be able to make our first smart dispenser or two once we get the lead over here. I'm going to try to get 20 of it because I want to connect at least two smart dispensers right away. I want one that is dropping the tier 2 food for the queen, and I want one dropping the tier 1 food for the queen. We can probably set this up so both routes access both of the dispensers. Once that's done, I'm going to literally clear everything out and we will reorganize it all. Over here, our resin is being produced. It's, of course, just getting immediately eaten by the thumper, but hey, at least we have a steady supply now. We also are getting our supply of diodes built, which is good. I would like to see. We need a factory at some point. We have most of the things needed for that, so I don't see why we can't just put that down and get everything that is easily accessible in there. Then once the thumper's done, any extra resin is going to flow right in there. And we have our first factory built. Going to make LEDs, going to take diodes, light bulbs, and of course, resin. So, with three different ingredients, I think the way to do this, looking at this layout here, is first of all, of course, we need a tiny bit more foundation to be able to handle all this in a pretty way. Then we're going to take three different paths off of this and put a dispenser on each one and then reconnect them down here where there will be a stockpile, not right there, right here where there will be a stockpile that they can drop the goods off at. And that stockpile will be, I don't like how those just sort of sit on top of each other. Can I do that? Yeah. And that. There we go. We'll do a large stockpile here for the LEDs. And on this little path going up right here, this is where the old gate will be. Setting them all the way back home. And we're going to connect in that way. I mean, I don't really need these stockpiles sitting where they're sitting. In fact, it's a really terrible idea looking at it. What have I been doing? This has been having issues because of our screw production, so that's something I'm probably going to want to crank up. We have plenty of diodes for the moment, but long-term sustainability, that's not going to work. So we'll lay this out here, bring it here. Oh, we need to reverse these paths. Whoops. And off of our main trail here, we will get just one ant going into there. One. Perfect. So hopefully with that we can start getting this built. Then we do going to need to be careful about the dispensers. That's something I should have thought about. We'll do one that goes right here like this for the resin. One that goes right here like this for the diode. And what's the third ingredient? It's a light bulb. And one that goes up here like this. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Okay. That's fine, because we have the grid to make it easy. This one for the diodes. And we will start filling this And off this back end, we should see. It does look like we have to manually remove them off the back end. So I'll take a look at that. We have our first item being produced in the factory. Realizing this is going to probably have some issues. Nope, nope, this is a stockpile for LEDs. Just looking at how they're coming back, it might be better to have one ant in each of these three places, just accept that little bit of efficiency loss. One ant, like, on each of these. But for now, I just wanted to see this first one get made. Yeah, it's going to need to be picked up and brought up there. Don't love that I just need to keep an ant whose only job is going to be dropping these off in this spot up here. But so it goes sometimes. Okay. Repurposing. Let's see how we can make this. Well, it's not the prettiest, but I decided to go with counter gates, so they'll just detect if there's an ant needed in each of these sides and up in the back and send them off if there is, and otherwise the ant just will keep doing its work. And then we have some stockpiles here to collect extras when they're done, at least for a bit, until I figure out what to do with that. I'm gonna need to look at some designs that other people have done for this gate, but I kind of like this setup. At least it's going to get the job done. It's going to take 4 ants, but should keep things producing at maximum efficiency. That should keep this at least flowing. Make sure we're getting everything out and not throwing away materials at the end. And with that, we should be able to start getting our first bits of leads. I hope. I sincerely hope. Back at the main base, we are sitting on how much copper? 51 copper, that's enough for 5. We're going to go ahead and turn off the flow of copper going over there. I don't need to bring more than that at the moment, especially since it's empty. Little thing. This needs to be tapping into this one now, and I'm going to have to open up a copper mine here soon. And I'm going to get rid of this stuff next because, well, it's in the way. It's in the way from getting everything here organized. And it's working. We have ants going around gathering things, one in the back waiting for the delivery. It's not the most efficient use of ants I've seen in my life, but it is a use of ants. And here's one carrying the diode and not dropping it off because I forgot to make these, at least briefly, regular trails. There, we just need small little instances where it can drop everything off and then they go back to being elder trails. So first, this is going to take 10 LEDs in the thumper. Once that's gone, we should be able to see more happen. Over here, this hasn't seen much progress for a while, and I think it's just because we're sending so many drones across. But right now, getting the drones across is important. At least until I set up another pod worker network to start bringing in copper from the other side at some point. Because long term, everything should probably centralize on this island with the Queen. That seems correct. We'll also have catapults and such. But also, I mean, let's be honest, we're wasting a lot of ants right here. This is like 20 something ants in there, 24 ants. It'll all be freed up by the next or by the smart dispensers when we get those. We need 2 here, one for the green, one for the yellow, and then we need one up here for this, and then the other 2, I guess I'll put a couple yellow ones on these assemblers making pod workers, and that should help that problem out. I did notice not everything has workers, and I did see in our last flight that some workers had died. So I might want to reevaluate some of these distances and sort of watch this at some point. I mean, we've got a line, right? Like, He's lived for a while, but not forever. Huh. Anyway, that's just probably all that happened there. Is I need a second assembler handling this. Yeah, 5 should really do the trick for getting rid of a lot of this and making it kind of sorted out. Just having a device handling this is going to make my life so much better. I begin to feel like we lost some of the pod workers down here. We definitely did. What happened here? Only down to 10? Huh. Maybe this is just too long as well. Maybe I need to split this up or something like that. Or put more launchers. That's okay. We have replacements, and we're not short on glass yet, and I imagine the polluted island sounds like a place to me that's going to have a lot of extra glass, but we'll get 4 extra ants into the preparation chamber. Why not? Last lead is being made for the thumper right now. Let's watch that come in. It should be delivered almost instantly off the other side. And we are seeing like some of the light bulbs and stuff being held there. There we go. Thumper has been built. And it's not necessarily what we should be doing now, but let's call the other ants. I want to watch this work. If you walk without rhythm, you won't attract the nuptial flight. There they are. So that's going to be useful for when we get giant production up and rolling properly again, to be able to keep getting the points whenever they're available. I like that. I like that a lot. What it also means is that now any leads we get are going to be able to get instantly transferred into there, and we need to bring 5 of them back home. So, standard procedure there. Not move. Get a dispenser here, get that there. Let them start bringing them home, and back home, we're going to drop a temporary little stockpile right where they land. So here's our copper that we've been gathering, and we'll make a lead one now. If I can see it. There we go. And we get a report. Yeah, 7 pod workers died. I don't understand. They take so long to just watch and try to see what's happening. Here comes our first lead, and this one's the big one. This one's so important to everything. I'm just waiting with bated breath right now. Out it goes. Actually, we're going to wait until we have 2. Next one should be any moment. But what we can already start to do is clear these out. So, getting rid of all of this should be able to replace it all with just a single smart dispenser right where they meet. One that each of them can get to. And we just need to select yellow energy. Now, instead of 5, we should be able to be happy with just 1 here. I mean, I could always just do 1 on each side, couldn't I? Once we get this next one in. I don't like this as a solution, but better than just not having a solution. So, there we go. And that should bring us right back where we were, with a much less hazardous way of getting it done. Then the next step is going to be down here. We put 1. Can I put 1 right there? Can, and it got its lead. We'll make that yellow energy as well. And, well, now we can do some pretty delightful things. And we can take all of this and just kind of end it. That's 24 ants that are about to be freed up. Because the smart stock or smart dispensers will grab from any stockpile on the map, so there's now no need to centralize. Without a need to centralize, this whole structure here has been rendered pointless. With this rendered pointless, I don't want to be spending ants on it anymore. Look at all this space opening up. Look at all these ants being freed from their servitude. Goodbye, 24 counter. All all of you, start heading on to the main trail again. Now, I do see a few issues, and those issues are that we really, really, really need something to do with all these ants, but all the small ones should be running off to join the giant production. And I think that as they do that, the iron worker ants are going to start filling these other roles, and we should see things fleshing out there. So these are all going off to what's this down here? Really? I put how many into the inventor cycle? I mean, I guess. I guess. I guess. It's a long walk, so I guess. I think I'm going to tweak that number, tweak how this is done as I lay out some more foundation. More foundation laid. We're going to clean all this up next time. We now have everything in place to do it. I did say it was going to be maybe even a full episode to pull this off, and well, that's certainly showing itself to be true. Honestly, this is already looking so much better. We'll take this gear out here soon once they're done with this, which only 55 iron left in there. That should be very soon. We've got a few more leads, so where do I want more connections? What are the places pulling energy? It's these assemblers. So let's delete that, and in its place we'll put storage, a smart dispenser right there. This one's grabbing energy. And then we've got the other one down here. Not enough materials to upgrade ant. You know, I bet that's been how all the pod workers have been dying. So we'll get this in there. Make sure this is also grabbing energy. Beautiful. We're going to replenish our stock of pod workers. I feel very silly letting it get that bad, not realizing that our energy stocks were collapsing. That's honestly probably all that happened here. We'll figure out what's going on the other island, and we'll clean this up. We got the thumper, we got smart dispensers, we have lead production, we have resin production, we have diode production. This was a very big episode. I'm very happy with where things are, and the giant is now getting populated again. I think this is a good place to call it. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day.